Regular viewers of my channel know I'm definitely a Scrabble player first and foremost, but I also love learning about other competitive subcultures of all types and sizes and discovering surprising things they have in common with Scrabble. So, in that spirit, I thought a video series comparing Scrabble with some of these other pastimes would be fun to try. There's really only one logical choice to start. Over the last few years, the game I've been most interested in by far is chess. Chess is the king of board games, no pun intended. It's played by millions of people both live and online, watched by millions more on YouTube and Twitch, and is seen as the ultimate test of intellect in both the real world and fiction, functioning as a metaphor for war, ideological battle, or strategic rivalry. Chess enjoys visibility and prestige that Scrabble can only dream of. Let's face it, it would look weird to see James Bond or Magneto playing Scrabble, especially with each other. Still, the two games have a lot of similarities. Both games have near universal recognition, at least in English-speaking countries and France, and both have been culturally relevant for generations. Both are classic turn-based board games that are easy to learn, difficult to master, with rules that can be explained within an hour or two, but levels of mastery that take thousands of hours to achieve. And both games have competitive tournaments, worldwide rankings and ratings, and legendary world champions revered for their brilliance. On the other hand, chess isn't language-based, making it a truly worldwide game, while Scrabble is subdivided into different languages and dictionaries. Chess is in the public domain, whereas Scrabble's trademark is owned by Hasbro in North America and Mattel in the rest of the world. And, of course, there are different win conditions, different numbers of playing pieces, different sized boards, and different amounts of luck inherent to the game, etc. Here's one more difference. I'm terrible at actually playing chess. I once did a stream with international chess master Eric Rosen where he kicked my ass with only half of his pieces and even proceeded to beat me in a Scrabble game too, for good measure. But despite that, watching lots of chess as it's boomed in popularity these past few years has shown me some ways that chess and Scrabble are similar that might surprise you. First, chess is a game of perfect information, with each player able to see all the pieces on the board at all times in the game. By contrast, Scrabble starts as a game of imperfect information, but slowly transforms into a chess-like game move by move. In competitive Scrabble, players are expected to keep track of the letters that have been played and use that information to guide their decision-making. Early on, this information isn't that useful, but by the end of the game, you should in theory know exactly what tiles your opponent holds. When this occurs, just as in chess, Scrabble players need to calculate lines, sequences of moves that will deliver the best outcome. For example, this complicated line will deliver Nigel Richards a 4-point win in a close game, but to know for sure which is the best line, he'll have to test other lines too. Chess lines often go much deeper than Scrabble endgame lines, and the judgment of which player is winning isn't as concrete as in Scrabble because there's no game score, but the overall process of evaluating moves is extremely similar. Which brings me to my next comparison. In chess, you can memorize different endgame patterns and strategies so that when you encounter that pattern, you know exactly what you need to do to secure the win. Strong chess players are also expected to memorize openings, and grandmaster chess players commit literally thousands of opening moves to memory so that they can consistently achieve advantageous positions in the early game without burning through time or brain power. One cognitive study of memory in chess players suggested master-level players might memorize as many as 100,000 opening moves in their preparation. Although that seems a little bit high, when I read this, it was hard not to draw a parallel to studying the dictionary in competitive Scrabble. I mentioned earlier that the two games have different numbers of playing pieces, but this actually undersells it. Rather than just individual tiles, it's more accurate to think of each individual word in the Scrabble dictionary as a separate playing piece. In order to play top-level Scrabble, there's no avoiding memorizing the dictionary, since it's basically equivalent to learning the approximately 100,000 valid moves of the game. That's why the most frequent piece of advice Scrabble experts give to new players is to memorize your two-letter words. This feels like a bit of a flaw in game design. On the other hand, the enormous moveset of Scrabble leads to much more immediate positional novelty than chess. Chess games often take many moves to generate a position that hasn't been seen before. For example, this famous novelty from Bobby Fischer came on his 11th move of the game, whereas Scrabble games almost always diverge from any other game that's ever been played by the second move. In both games, the general purpose of rote memorization is the same, converting active effort into simple pattern recognition, whether it's unscrambling your letters instantly or immediately knowing which piece to move. The difference is that in chess, there's still a chance you can come up with the answer based on logic and calculation, whereas in Scrabble, if you don't know a word, you've got no shot to play it. That being said, memorizing a word in Scrabble is only half the battle. In this example, you'll need to have studied the dictionary if you want to find the word betaine. But you'll have several spots to place it on this board that all score similarly, and you'll need to decide which one to play with strategic intuition, not by having memorized anything about the position by rote. One of my goals with this channel is to show that Scrabble does indeed have incredible strategic and positional depth, even if much of it is hidden behind dictionary memorization and the cultural preconception that Scrabble is just another casual game on par with other family board games, when in fact it's significantly closer to chess. If you've been clickbaited into expecting an official pronouncement of which game is quote-unquote better, I'm going to disappoint you here. I think both are amazing, and I'm so glad to have gained a greater appreciation for chess in the past few years. Some of you have even suggested I remind you of other chess YouTubers, but for Scrabble instead, which I love to hear. But if you really want to help me become the Gotham Chess of Scrabble and get my channel looking like this, I have a lot of work to do. So if you like this video, consider hitting that sub button to help me out. Thanks for watching and happy gaming.